Hey, hey, hey. Thank you guys for tuning in to Free Game with Lana Hampton, and I'm your host, Lana Hampton. Let me tell you what Free Game is about. What I'm going to do is I am going to have conversation with individuals that have went to prison, been incarcerated, and I'm going to document their journey, and you're going to be a part of it, just so we could kind of highlight the injustice within the judicial system because it is terrible. And also, I want to get into the prison reform aspect of it and how we can help the community to prevent people from being incarcerated and also get down the recidivism rate and show people, give them tools on how to re-enter the community and society once they've been incarcerated. So stay tuned because when I come back, I have author, fashion curator, and a young lady that has been previously incarcerated and now she's out to tell her story. So tune in. Well, welcome back. Okay, today's guest is, like I said, she is a previously incarcerated author. She is a fashion curator of the ATL. Now she resides in Miami. But she was previously incarcerated, and I'd like to call her a friend of mine. Everybody welcome Sakeya Donaldosn. Hey, Sakeya.
Hi. Oh, a little better.
Yeah, much better. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Could you turn your phone sideways?
Long ways?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You got on your little business suit. I feel like, wow. Oh, you're not there no more. There you go. Such a fashionista. I love what you're wearing. You all business-like, and I'm all loungy.
Listen, you just never know where this stuff can go. You got to be ready.
Well, I got my Timbs on and my sweatshirt. It's 19 degrees outside today in Atlanta.
Yeah, so I heard.
Yes, yes. You were supposed to be here, but of course, you reneged on me because you didn't want to get stuck in the A. Everybody wants to get stuck in the A, though.
No, I try to get out there as expeditiously as possible.
I got you. Well, I want to thank you for being here with me, and your willingness to tell your story is definitely going to impact a lot of people, young women, even young men, just the whole, how easy it is to get incarcerated with just, I know somebody to know somebody. So with that being said, let's start by how did you end up getting in prison? Kind of let everybody know your journey. How did you get there?
I always say, like, it always starts out like I was dating this guy. I think that's how a lot of stories start out with females, especially being incarcerated. I was dating a guy that was a street guy. He was a drug dealer. And I had like introduced him to another guy that was a drug dealer. And they started selling drugs together. And that's how I got caught up in the conspiracy. I was charged with conspiracy. And yeah, it was really that simple. When you say it out loud, it's kind of weird, but yeah, it was that simple.
So I want to get in. I want to get into a little bit in depth. When you just said you got incarcerated, you introduced two people. Were you dating one of the guys?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
you were.
Yes.
Okay.
I was dating a gentleman. Actually, the guy that was like the target for the investigation, that's the guy that I was dating.
Percent of the population in federal women's prison is because for a guy or it's what you know.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's talk about that time in prison. I know what my experience was like. It wasn't a lot of things there to kind of help get us through. It wasn't a lot of mental health things. It wasn't a lot of things to kind of rehabilitate us. It wasn't, what did you do in your spare time to kind of mentally get through it? What did you do to like educate yourself? Like, let's get a glimpse of what that experience was like for you in there.
So when I went in, I had a plan, right? I knew that my time was relatively short compared to a lot of other people. I was sentenced to 26 months, where I actually served 20 months inside. So my goal was, when I went in, I knew I wanted to like continue my fitness journey, because like when I was on pretrial, working out and just staying active, that really helped me like mentally prepare, or just kind of help me with what I was going through. I wanted to learn a new language, so I started teaching myself French while I was there. I work in the fashion industry. I travel to Europe quite often, and I wanted to be able to communicate with the people there better than I had in the past, right? So that was something that I did. I taught myself French. It was a weird time because
You're telling me that, how long were you incarcerated?
20 months.
20 months. So you taught yourself French in 20 months. So you're fluent?
I'm not fluent.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was like,
and this is the thing. No, and this is the thing. Because in order to be fluent in a language, you have to speak it regularly, and you have to hear it regularly.
Right.
So it's like, I thought I was fluent until I went to Paris and I said a couple of things, and then they just, and I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm out.
I'm just saying, I am in the first stages. I am
in the first stages, yeah. So it was like, okay, so let me rephrase myself. I attempted to teach myself French. We'll say that. And then like when I was incarcerated, I spent one birthday incarcerated, and I turned 40, right, while I was there. And so that's like a very pivotal age, right, for people. I think that's the year like of reflection, where you kind of look back on your life, like, okay, what have I done up until this point? What are my goals moving forward? So I kind of took that time to say, okay, Sakeya, you've accomplished everything that you want to accomplish up until this point in your life, right? So what does the next half of your life look like? Like, let's set that up. Let's put together actionable steps and things that you can do to help you, accomplish this. I read a lot. Like, if you know, like, there's these things that they read called like hood books in prison.
I'm okay. Let me not say I hate them. I just did not partake in the
me either.
hood books, because I felt like it was already my life anyway.
That's what I said. I was like, my life is a
nothing in there book that I hadn't experienced. It
Yeah.
wasn't anything in there that they could teach me. So I did a lot of self-help books, and I read a lot, and a lot of spiritual books as well. So I could definitely relate with you on that.
Yeah. So that was my thing. Like, I read a lot of business books. I read a lot of biographies of people like that I admired. I read a lot of like self-help books. And so that was really my goal. Like, I didn't look at prison as a place where I needed to be rehabilitated, right? It was just more so like, I knew what I had going on. I knew what my life consisted of. I just owed these people some time. So it's like, I was just going to go in here, do my time, and get back to my life. And just like on my campus, compound, whatever you want to call it, they just didn't have anything there that was beneficial to me. Like, I don't want to learn how to crochet. I don't want to take horticulture or whatever they called it. Like, it was a joke, really. Like, the programs that they had, because when you think about what the prison system is, it operates on recidivism. It operates on repeat offenders. So why would a business whose business model is for it to be a revolving door, why would they put you in a position to not come back? Like, that doesn't
That's
really
why they
make
don't
sense.
have anything available for you, because
Right.
they know that I would say 80% of the population of incarcerated individuals return because they are not educated, and they don't want to. They will tell you they don't have funding. I tried to when I was there, I tried to get them to implement a etiquette class.
Okay.
Oh, they laughed me out of there. What do we need etiquette for? We're women. We need, some of these women have never experienced five-star dining. Some of them have never traveled out of their zip code. So my thing was, let's expand them, but let them understand how to act like a lady, how to know what's proper.
Right.
They laughed me out of there. I wrote to region. I tried to get that implemented. They would not do it. So all I can tell you is, when I was there, I tried to be one of those people that tried to educate on my own, but I got shut down. And a lot of the ladies were very negative that I found. I only made friends with maybe a couple of people, but they were negative. They didn't want to help lift the next person up or see the next woman doing something, especially not us. It was like a real separation between the Black ladies. The Latino women hung together. Most of the Caucasians hung together, but the Black women weren't together. They would separate themselves, and they would have different groups. Either you were in the in group, you were in this group, so it was very cliquish to me.
Yeah.
So it was very hard to teach. It was very hard for any type of program to get implemented. But with that being said, I heard you say that you basically, hey, you educated yourself in the areas that you felt that was empowering for you.
Yes.
So once again, if anyone is listening, we need to do something about implementing things that will help people when they come home.
Yeah.
Yeah, horticulture is good, but everyone doesn't want to be a farmer. Yeah, crocheting may be good, but everyone doesn't want to crochet. Let's do things like,
right.
Financial literacy would have been a great.
Yeah.
But they did the Dave Ramsey course. I took that. But it was film. It wasn't anything that really showed them how to, sustain their money, make their money produce. It's just crazy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break for a second, and we're going to come back because I want to hear more about a lot of the other things that you have going on. Like I said, prison reform is something that's greatly needed. And I just want to get a bunch of women, men together that have been through this journey. And let's just do something about it. Let's get down on it,
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll be back in a minute.
Okay.
Okay, guys, we are back. And Sakeya, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. So with this being said, we just discussed a little bit about what's not happening in the prison system.
Right.
So I just want to know, what does prison reform look like for you? And I want to know, like, what's your next move? What's next for Sakeya? What are you doing out here? Let us know.
Well, I was really fortunate, right? And it's just God's plan, like I always say. When I left, I lived in Atlanta, right? So when it was time for me to be released, it was like, okay, where are you gonna go in Atlanta? Because I don't have family in Atlanta. All my family is in Florida. So
said, did you go to the halfway house on Fulton Industrial?
No, I didn't go. They wouldn't. I didn't go. I actually so the one place that I had gave them in Atlanta that I could go to is my friend, and her husband was like a firearms instructor, so he had guns and things in the house, so they wouldn't approve me there. And so they were like, okay, well, where's your family? I was like, well, my family's in Florida. And so they were like, okay, we'll approve you to go to Florida. And my plan was really to just come to Florida. I think I had like 2 months of home confinement, and then I was just gonna move back to Atlanta and just, pick up my life. And so when I got to Tampa, you have to get a job. I'm on home confinement. So I got a job at the FRRC, the Florida Rights and Restoration Coalition, which was like, it was perfect. So it's a nonprofit organization, and I was released in 2020, which was an election year. And so the FRRC is an organization that helps returning citizens like you and me restore their rights in the state of Florida. So if you don't have any restitution, or if you're not on any type of post prison supervision or anything like that, you can get your rights to vote back, and you can get other liberties back as well. So they did legislation. They advocated for Amendment 4, which is now part of Florida's legislation, and it was really good for me to have that access and have that experience coming home, because I mean, I'm fresh out of prison, and it's like now I see all these other people that have been through the same things that I've been through, and now they're slowly doing things to reintegrate themselves back into society, right? Because at the end of the day, in order for any of this to change, right? You talked about lack of funding, that the facility always said that's their favorite word. We don't have no money. It's lack of funding, lack of funding. You know what I mean? But the only way that that changes is with legislation. And the only way that you can get legislation passed is through voting. So if the underserved demographic, the ones that really need this assistance, is excluded from the voting process, who are the voices that are going to stand up and really say, like, hey, this is what's going on, this is what needs to change, this is how it can change? You're excluding that group of people. So that was like my first kind of experience when I came home. And like I said, I was very fortunate to be able to work with that organization. I actually went to Tallahassee on Advocacy Day and advocated for prison reform. I spoke to senators and Congress people from the state of Florida, because we all know, like, these past couple elections, it always come down to Florida. It's always something crazy going on in Florida when it's time to elect, so it's super important that we're able to have our voices heard. We've paid our debt to society. We're not asking for handouts. We're just asking not to be forever penalized for something that we've already, went through. And then another thing, like, that I'm going to have to look into more, is I was denied global entry, right? So like I said, I travel a lot internationally. So once
And
I
a
got
lot of people and a lot of people don't know there's certain countries that we're restricted to go into because we're convicted felons. So we would have to go through the embassy, their consulate, and then we would
yeah,
have to get some kind of approval. And
yeah,
it's all a process. And people don't
yeah,
understand. My thing is, if I did my time, let me be free.
right.
Let me be free. Let all of that be gone. However, there are a lot of restrictions. Canada, Dubai, you got to get
Australia,
Japan.
yeah,
It just depends. And I'm a fraud. I'm a fraud felon. So therefore, it's like, oh yeah, they're gonna do the whole stilo on a fraud
yeah.
felon, right?
Every time I come back into the country, Like, they always pull me out of the line. I always got to go in the room. They asking me all these questions. And I'm just like, at this point, it's like, stop it. And so I applied for like TSA, like pre-check, so I don't have to, do all that stuff going through the airport. And I remember before I applied, I asked them specifically, I said, hey, I'm a convicted felon. I'm not on probation. I have my passport. I'm done with everything. And they told me it was some charges that would automatically deny me, like treason,
Yep.
espionage, terrorist, like stuff like that, right?
Yep.
But not conspiracy. But I think it was like the distribution or the trafficking part of it.
Right.
So that's something that I definitely want to look in, because like I said, I travel quite often, and not being able to, just move around freely, that's a problem. Like, I wanted to go to Australia last week. I'm a big tennis fan. The Australian Open just started. I wanted to go, and I'm just like, damn, I can't even go watch tennis. Like, this is crazy. Like,
it's like we're super restricted, and our lives are changed. And a lot of people really don't understand, unless they've lived it, that we are, okay, we may have been a part of something, but when you pay your debt, now it feels like you're the victim, because society, when it comes to job placement, when it comes to just opportunities in general, a lot of people will look down on you and they won't give you the opportunity. I've been blessed and fortunate that, everybody that knows my journey, I just be honest with them. Hey, I've been incarcerated. I am a convicted felon. And most of them have been very, open, like, hey, I appreciate your honesty. I'll give you a chance. I work for a company called First Choice Remodeling ATL. And the owner of the company, I was just honest. When I went for the project management job, I was honest with him. And I really thought that he would turn me away, but he didn't. He said, hey, let's give it a shot and let's see what happens. So I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate, but and with that being said, he's helped me open doors to a career move, in project management, construction, because incarceration sometimes, when people don't give you the opportunity, it kind of slows down your ability to make money. So he's given me the necessary tools to expand in construction. Construction is a flourishing business. And like I said, I'm very grateful for the opportunity, but I was just kind of going into that because people do not understand how hard it is sometimes being a felon. And this right here is affecting you as a fashion designer, because you can't go to some of these countries aside from hanging out. It's interfering in you making money. So it is hard. So that goes back to, that puts you back in a position that when things get hard, sometimes you start thinking like, wow, dang, So now if you're not strong enough, the mentality itself, if you're not out of it, you'll have yourself back in prison. And there's the recidivism rate left, the recidivism.
Yes.
So what kind of changes would you like to see happen when it comes to that?
I just don't think that the whole system is not built for success, right? It's built to make money. And so when you think about it, it's like, how many times have you been like punished into changing, right? Like that, I would like to see data on that statistic, right?
But not to interject, Sakeya, but a lot of these prisons are privately owned.
Yes.
And these are some of your celebrities. You'll be amazed at some of the celebrities that own prisons or have a percentage in the prisons. So go ahead.
Or not even that, but they have stock. Like there's stocks that you can buy, that like S&P, that are on S&P, where you can like invest in prisons. Like, people didn't know, like Bob Barker, he has a lot of products I mean, he's deceased, but his estate, he has a lot of products that come through the prison
All of
system.
the necessities. Remember the Bob Barker soap, the Bob Barker shampoo.
Yeah.
You better not put that on your stuff, girl, because
No.
it'll mess you all the way up, because it will bleach clothes. I used to see those girls washing their clothes with the Bob
With
Barker
the soap.
bright white, baby. It's better than
Yes.
bleach. And then if you want to put that on your body, I used
Yeah.
to say, oh my God. I mean, anything that you want hygiene wise, Bob Barker.
Yeah, he provided it. The same Bob Barker from The Price is Right. Like, let's be clear. Yeah, let's be clear about what
is right.
About the price. The price was right,
Right.
and he took advantage of it. But
yes, he did.
My thought process is more like mentorship, right? As opposed to punishment. I've never, I mean, people, when you have it in your mind to do something wrong or do something, you always know that there's a consequence. But obviously, that consequence doesn't deter you from doing whatever it is that you did to get incarcerated, right? And even just with me, like, I was never like ashamed of what I had going on, what was going on with me, but like I always wanted to control my narrative. I mean, we live in the age of the internet. It's not hard to figure out why somebody disappeared for 2 years, right? And you haven't seen them, you haven't heard from them. And I was a very social person. You know, I was very successful in my career. I was a magazine editor. I was a wardrobe stylist, you know, so if you don't see me for a month, it's like, what's going on with Sakeya? Where is Sakeya? You know, so it's not hard for people to figure out whatever is going on. So I always wanted to be the type of person to control that narrative, right? And ever since I started talking about my story, like so many people hit me up like, hey, I just got indicted. I'm so scared. What can I do? My lawyer telling me this. Like, they need to be paying me. Like, I'm quarterback lawyering people through the DM. Like,
well, wait a minute, Sakeya. If you're getting paid for it, you need to put me in, because you know I was incarcerated not once but twice. I did 5.5 years the first time, and I did 2 years the second, 2.5 years the second time. That's all included with the halfway house. I did the whole halfway house experience, but I feel that I am a professional. I didn't do 20 years, but when you total all the time up of the incarceration, the probation, the halfway house, I'm like 20 years in, girl. Like I'm giving dang near 20 years of my life to these people. And I have restitution, like $3.1 million. But you put me out here. I have to work a job. I have to support my family. And you want me to pay the $3.1 million. How am I supposed to survive?
See,
you know?
that's I didn't understand that with white collar. Like, so you gonna lock me up and I gotta pay y'all back? Like, yeah. Come on.
But
like,
the insurance paid the construction company. You know, mine was construction fraud this time, and prior to it, it was the bank. So again, the insurance pays for it, but now it's like you're on the hook to the insurance company, which I'm sure they got paid as well. And you got time out of me, but I'm paying you every month. I never see my federal income taxes. They take that. If I go out and I buy property and I put it in my name and I go to sell it, any equity belongs to them first. It's crazy, but people are not aware. They don't know it. So that's what I'm here to do. Free Game is here to tell people so they're aware of what's happening. You do not have your life anymore. And even though I'm off federal probation, the restitution keeps me entangled with them for 20 years. 20 years after you get indicted, you're on the hook. 20 years. So,
I mean,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, really. And I'm laughing about it to keep from crying, because I swear to God, when you sit and think, like, it's just overwhelming. Sometimes I sit on the end of my bed, not with just the overwhelming day-to-day stress, but then when you think about how you're entangled with the federal government. I mean, these people could come in at any time. They can go on your bank account. They can snatch out anything that they want because you owe them restitution. If you're making a certain amount of money, it's just crazy. And again, what I'm saying to you is my own experience.
Right.
You know, some people, baby, oh yeah, this, that. My experience wasn't like that. I'm just telling you my money crime. Right now, if they came and say, hey, Miss Hampton, you haven't paid your restitution for $50 million a year, we don't have our money. So guess what, Miss Hampton? We're going to go ahead and we're going to give this document, go in your bank account, and we're going to take what we want. I mean, they already take my federal tax return. You work all year, you file your taxes, and you see none of it. But anywho, ain't no need to keep talking about that.
That's insane. But insane. Yeah, that would be my my thought process. Like, let's look at mentorship. Let's look at giving people the opportunity to come home and make an honest living and make a livable wage, right?
Like, what does like livable wage look like, though, Sakeya? What is that? What is a livable wage?
Because I mean, a livable wage for one person might not be the same for another person, right? You just have to decide what you want your life to look like. And Lana, like, if we just being totally honest,
yes,
like, you just gotta want it, right? Like, you just gotta want it, and you just have to understand, like, okay, it's not gonna be hard. We know that, right? These are the cards that I was dealt, but it's not impossible. Somebody has done it before.
Well, so, you know, I consider myself as a hustler. So my thing is I hustle for good. So I can take some collard greens, I can get on the back of the truck, and I'm going to hustle it. You know, I'm going to go buy these collard greens for 10 cents a bunch, and I'm going to sell them for $5 a bunch, you know? And it's all the mentality of, I had to get out of that quick set, like that quick money. I had to get out of, you know, that material things mattered. I had to get out of that mindset that I had to keep up with the Joneses, or because I'm out with my friends, she may be rocking a Louis Vuitton purse, and, you know, I don't have it anymore. Like, I had to get my mind together with that, because it will get you in a bad position. And I think that's what gets people caught up to go back to prison, because they don't get their mind together to understand that time is the most valuable thing that you have. It's worth more than money. I can't get the time back with my kids. I can't get the time back with, you know, my friends, my family, and I can't get my money back.
Right.
But I got to hustle different now. So I'm with you when you said that.
And I tell people that, like, all the time, like, you know, me coming to Tampa, even though, like, I was born here, my family is from here, I left Tampa when I was 16, right? So I lived in Atlanta for 20 something years. That's where I grew up, basically. That's my whole adult life. So it's like, I came to a new city that I wasn't really familiar with, because, I mean, I came here at 40. It looks a lot different than it did at 16, when I was 16. So, and people just ask me, like, hey, how were you able to do this? Because I went in a totally different lane, right? Since I've been here. But it's in me. Like you said, I'm a hustler. I'm a self-starter. I'm a person that does what I say I'm going to do. I'm an executioner, right? I get things done. So it's like, nobody is going to save you, right? Nobody's going to give you anything. You have to get up every single day and understand that the things in life that you want, you are 100% responsible for obtaining them. And once you get that message through your head, and you really just believe in what it is that you have going on, whatever your higher power is, you know, I'm a very prayerful person. You know, I go to God about everything, and my experiences are going to be totally different from other people's experiences. And when people ask me how I'm able to do this, how I'm able to operate, I can't even tell you because it's not even me doing it. I just wake up every day and move, right? Because you got to put some hustle behind those prayers, right? You got to give God something to bless, right? You can't wait. Oh, everything has to be perfect. I don't have this. I don't have that. Start with where you are with what you have. And when you do that, doors will open, opportunities will present themselves. But that's a mindset that I've had since I was a child. So like I said, it was instilled in me. But I just implore and encourage everyone, like, this is not a dead end. It's just a speed bump. It's not a dead end, right? You can get through it. You can get on the other side of it. And 9 times out of 10, your life is going to be better on the other side of this.
So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna have to take a break because somebody's gonna have to pay these bills, girl. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. And then when we come back, we're gonna discuss some like hot topics that's going on that's relatable to us.
Okay.
And we're gonna get into that. So 2 minutes, we'll be right back.
All right, babes.
Welcome back. Again, we have the lovely Sakeya Donaldosn that's here with us, and we are discussing prison reform. We're discussing what our experiences were in prison, and we're trying to see how we can make a difference here. So, Sakeya, I'm going to go into something a little deep. We said about hot topics, but before I get into that, what's going on out here with other people and their crimes. I want to talk about your family. Mm-hmm. My family is very dear to me, and I want to. I guess my thing is, I had kids when I left, and they weren't young, all of them. But I know the first time I went away, my kids were young, and it has mentally impacted them all differently. I have a 35-year-old son now. I have a 26-year-old daughter, a 19-year-old son, and a 11-year-old son. And it has impacted each one of them differently. And I, as a parent, I'm going to say this. I want to apologize to them for taking them through it, because I felt that if they were taken care of properly, that I did okay as a parent. But what I realized, that the impact that they had on them, the different effect that it has had on them, has really opened my eyes to look at it from their perspective. I just resumed. I went on because I'm a tough cookie. But I don't think all of my kids have handled it well, even though they're resumed, because I'm home now. They have the love, the care, and attention. But again, I'm going to take the time out, to apologize to my children. So, Sakeya, I want to know, how did it impact your family, and do you have any children?
Wow, that's deep. So I don't have kids, but I have a niece, my niece, and she was actually in Atlanta visiting me when I got arrested. Like, she's in the house with me when the feds came. Yeah, it was tough, right? Because we're very, very close, like extremely close. And she might have been maybe 12 around that time. And I was like her superhero, right? Like, nobody is bigger than her aunt, Sakeya. So for her to have to see that, like, people ask me all the time, like, what was my biggest regrets? Like, dealing with my family, my dad, it's like, look, I'm grown, like, I did it. I'm going to take care of everything. I didn't put any sort of like financial burden on my family. Like, when I was incarcerated, my family did not send me $1. Like, they didn't pay for a lawyer. They didn't pay nothing, right? Because I just felt like I got myself into this situation. I'm not going to burden my family with a financial responsibility. Like, my niece, I didn't miss a birthday. She still got birthday gifts. She still got Christmas gifts. My aunts, my grandmothers, everybody got Mother's Day flowers. Like I just, I just kept my life going as much as I could. But with my niece, that was really difficult for me because, like I said, she saw me. It was just like aside from being just in sheer shock that 10 armed men are in the house with guns, like let's just get past that, right? But just the fact of her seeing,
And that's extreme all in itself, because they're coming for one woman. Why do you need all these people? But exactly. They do it. They come extreme force. And again, that's a whole nother story.
That's ridiculous. Like,
yes.
So so that was my biggest, that was my biggest thing. And I've had to apologize to her, as well. And now she's 18, and like we've just bonded more, and she's like really my motivation. Like, okay, my auntie back, like she went through what she went through, but she bounced back. Like she's my biggest cheerleader. I'm her biggest cheerleader. So, and I just have a very supportive family. Like I have a very close-knit, supportive family. I definitely wouldn't be able to do what it is that I'm doing without my family. So yeah, that's very important. And like I said,
women don't have the support. Think of some of the women that's incarcerated. They don't have the support of their family. They have no money coming in. They're destitute. They give them an indigent package where they can get 5 stamps a month and 5 envelopes and 5 pieces of paper where they could write. That's your indigent package. You know the word I'm trying to say. But the point I'm trying to make is we are blessed and fortunate, because I did have the support of my family and friends while I was away. But it is so many women that don't have that support. So, But I'm going to switch gears with you, because I probably just did a Debbie Downer. And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but
it's an experience. Like it is. And it affects different people different ways, because like things that you had to deal with, other people may not have had to deal with. I'm not married. I don't have kids. So that's just a layer that I didn't have to, experience. But I saw how that, devastated some of the women that were in there. And
even being in a relationship, even if they weren't married, just the relationships. And you know what, from the first time that I went in to the second time I went in, the second time was harder for me because I knew what it was. Right. The first time it was a little easier, but I had no attachments. Like I went in and my thing was, I didn't have a boyfriend that I was on the phone with. The second time it was more like I thought, I had someone, but again, I didn't, but I had the support. I have, a very close friend that, helped me through to keep my mind together, where I wasn't living on the outside. It's hard to live on the outside and the inside. So a lot of people don't understand that, and it'll drive me crazy. I've seen some girls that they're in the padded room in the turtle suit because they have had a nervous breakdown because they're worried about the boyfriend and who he's with, and the kids not over here with the other girl. The kids are not eating properly. The mother and the dad is abused. It's just crazy. And they get in a turtle suit, And for people that don't know what that is, it's a white padded suit that they put on. They put you in a room of isolation because they put you on suicide watch because you can't handle it, and it's terrible. It is to see someone break down like that. So, again, prayer works. But I'm going to switch
and then another, just to kind of piggyback off of what you said, another just layer that I had to deal with is that COVID. Like we were locked up during the pandemic. And that was that was crazy. That was crazy. So it was a time. It was a time.
And Sakeya, you and I, and I'm sure some of the other guests that I'm going to have on, and I have a great lineup coming up with Free Game, but everybody, it's just so much to talk about.
Yeah.
People don't understand. We could talk for hours
days
about what goes on in there. Like,
yeah.
it is so inhumane. It is not clean. It's the people, the guards. Some of them are nice, but some of them are very nasty. Like, we could go on and on. But I'm going to try to switch gears because, like I said, we could talk forever. And I'm sure the people that are listening, like, you know what? You know, what else? What else? What else?
Yeah.
But I don't want to we can't do it all in one day, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get into this hot topics. We'll come right back in a minute. We're going to take that break to pay those bills, baby.
Pay the bills, honey.
See you in a minute.
Okay.
I'm Carmen Simmons. Yes, like Rustle and Run. That's another story.
Not only do you guys have to think about who it is that you want to interview from, you know, a perspective of, oh, there's a new movie coming out, there's this coming out, but you need to keep your ears to the streets.
If we're gonna grow, I gotta focus on building the brand.
Even though this is something that you mainly relied on me for, I am now asking you to step up your game and start doing it yourselves.
I've invested everything in this. I cannot lose. So it's go time.
That's fine. I said I could work with but I don't have to be their friend.
How can we get to a resolve so that you're not referring to working with your co-host as working with?
Where exactly do y'all stand? I mean, because you got to worry about you.
At this point in my life, I would like to be in a relationship.
Cheers to Saturday night. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
We are back with Sakeya Donaldosn, and we are talking about the journey to incarceration, prison reform, and how we can make a difference. That's all. So I am going to get into this. It's trending. It's a conversation piece, but it's different for us because we understand, because we've been through the process. Young Thug, YSL, RICO trial. Yes. So I love Young Thug. Free Young Thug, okay? That is my thing. However, a lot of people will not agree with me. And again, opinions are just like assholes. Everyone have them. So, pardon me. But, so, it's so many layers to this. Pre-trial, over a year of pre-trial before we get everybody in court. We got people telling on each other. We got people divulging information that wasn't even a part of the trial. We have friends turning on friends. We have people hacking into computers getting information. This right here is gonna be one of those long ones.
Yeah.
I don't foresee us at the end of this anytime soon.
Yeah.
And I do feel bad for some of the people that's involved, only because I know a speedy trial is what we would like, but that's not what's happening. So what is your take on this? Because I know you talked about this the other day in brief, and you don't really agree with me with the Young Thug being free.
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say free Thug. I'm a Thug fan. I love Thug. I work with Thug, you know. Right. And you know, I think we have an overzealous prosecutor here, right? That is kind of using this for political gain. You know, she has a vision about where she want her career to go, and you know, you gotta make the big cases.
Okay, Sakeya. Okay, she's using this man's freaking music lyrics against him. Come on, like how messed up is that?
Yeah, no, like, this
come
is
on,
the
that's
thing.
not fair.
No,
that's not fair.
I feel like I wouldn't wish Thug's position on anybody, right? Because these are people that you've grew up with, family members, people that you've been in the trenches with, people that you've helped change their lives, right? But the number one rule is self-preservation. Like when you got 30, 40 people on a case, people ain't built to stand on business. Like that's just, people are built to look out for themselves, right? And I don't think it should be free thug, because I think that he is responsible for some of the things that these people are saying. And if he's responsible, he should be held accountable. But I don't think, you got to make these people do their job.
Okay, but I'm going to say this to you because I hear you when you said that he should be held accountable, but you're a grown person. And just like you said, self-preservation, I get that. But I'm going to say this. When you out here dealing drugs, running in gangs, those things are choices.
Yes.
He didn't put a gun to no one's head and force them to be a part of anything.
No.
So now you're saying that he should be accountable for some of the choices other people
No.
make.
No. That's what I said. These one thing, and I will remember this, when the guy that transported me after they picked me up, the marshal that took me downtown, he told me, he's like, I've been following you. I've been, I came over here a couple of times and, kind of scouted things out. And he was like, I don't have nothing to do with the case. I don't know what's going on. I just had to come pick you up. He was like, but if I could tell you anything, because you seem like a nice young lady, he was like, let them people do their job. And that's the thing that I feel like with the case, like, let the prosecution do their job. Be quiet. Don't, like, you're not there to help them put thug away. If they said he did it, make them prove that he did it.
I'm with that. But when you got other people that are a part of the equation that aren't being or accepting responsibility for their actions,
that's the thing.
That is the problem.
That's the problem.
That is the problem. Because my thing is, if I'm out here, I'm working for the kingpin.
Right.
He didn't push me to go sell his drugs. So now that I done got caught up, now I want to start running my mouth.
Exactly.
I don't understand that. That shit is backwards.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it either. But that's why I say everybody ain't real. Everybody not real, and everybody not built. Everybody not built for that. Some people like Trey from Boys in the Hood. Like, you gotta let him out the car. He ain't ready to ride like that. And it's all fun and games when you standing on the couches and popping the bottles and fishtailing out of Magic City parking lot in Ferraris. But when you get in that room and them people start throwing them numbers at you, you know what I mean? And you think, like you said, you think about your girl, you think about your baby mama, you think about the dude that's gonna hit your baby mama. You thinking about, this nigga really ain't look out for me like he was supposed to look out for me. So I'm due this or I'm owed this. And it's like, no, one thing I learned, anytime you doing something you don't got no business doing, make sure you got bond money and make sure you got lawyer money. That's it.
You know what? You're right with that. But I mean, when you talk about that mentality, I can't relate, because on any of my cases, I've never snitched. Like, I've always sat and held my own. On my previous case that I had, one of my co-defendants was a friend of mine, and you know what I told her? I said, you don't have to go in there and try to do nothing extra. Go tell the truth, and I'll take whatever consequences I get from the truth. And I did what I did. I did what I did. I did this. I did this. Oh, did this person do that? Well, I don't know anything about that.
I don't know what they did.
This is what I know about.
Sir,
and
that's your job to find out what they did, sir.
Yeah,
I don't know what they
that's
did.
not my job.
Yeah.
And then I was fortunate. I had a good attorney that he was a private attorney, but he did a pro bono. So I had a public defender, but he took my case, and I was blessed because he was excellent. Out of Houston, Texas, Philip Hilder, love you to death. But all I'm saying is, I think if you do your crime, then you should man up when it's that time.
That's how I was. Like I said, I had some OGs around me that really just told me like how this was gonna go, because they done been through it before. So that's how I was able to go through my pre-trial. I was chilling, like, because I knew what the consequence was, and I could live with the consequence. I knew my range, and that's what people don't understand. Know your numbers. Know the numbers. right? So because if you sitting in a room and these people telling you, child, when my case dropped, oh, she could get 30 years, 40 years, like anybody gonna be scared. But once you sat down and they broke it down to me like, Sakeya, you gonna fall into this. They gonna give you this because this your first time getting in trouble. So you gonna fall under the safety valve. This is gonna be your
to interject, what she's trying to explain is the federal government have a chart.
Yes.
And this chart,
you can Google it. It's not secret. It's not top secret.
Yes, but people don't know about the chart. So again, we're here to educate. So that chart it shows how many times that you've been in trouble up to the top. And this is your criminal history. Yes. And now on the other side,
the new charge.
That is what all of your enhancements are and what level is. So you are categorized as the level of your offense.
And then you go here.
And then how many times you've been in trouble. And that comes in at the number. So if people don't understand the chart, don't know anything about the chart, that's how you get sentenced. And the judge has the potential of going above or below the guideline. So that is the guideline that you're given for your crime, your offense, and how many times you've been in trouble. And if you cooperate, you have a 5K, which is called a downward departure, where it takes you down a couple of levels. Then you have certain crimes that you commit that have mandatory minimums.
But the thing is, like the judge is 9.5% of the time, the judge is going to stay in that range. It has to be extenuating circumstances for an upward or a downward departure. So when I looked at my chart and I saw my number, I think my number was like 16 or 17, something like that. But my range was 24 to 30 months. I can live with that. I can live with 30 months. So now that I know, and they're only going to sentence me to 30 months, is if my criminal history, if I'm a repeat offender. They sentence me on the lower end of the guidelines because it was my first try. So knowledge is key. You have to know what it is that you're getting into.
But most people think that when they get an offense that they'll say, oh, this offense can carry up to 30 years. That's what they hear. Up to 30 years. So, but they hear 30 years. So now let's go back into this young thug situation where he could potentially be looking at 400 years.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing a number out there with all the crimes and all of the offenses. However, he may walk away with only 20.
Yeah.
Or 10, depending on what's going on, because some of those charges, they may not be able to prove. Some of those, my thing to him is the feds are 99.9% conviction rate. Or is it 99?
This isn't a Fed case.
This is a state case.
It's a state case.
Oh,
yeah.
I digress.
Yes, a state case.
So the point, he may get 5 years, he may get 20 years, do 5.
Suspended sentence. Yeah.
But you know what's going to probably happen though, even though this is a state case, the feds are definitely going to pick it up because of the guns, because of the whole conspiracy. And so we can only hope it stays at the state level, but we know better because guess what? Now at the federal level, they're going to get some more. They're going to get some more money. So, but I hope he gets through it. And again, some of the people, I wish they would take accountability for their own actions and not, just come on. When we were having fun together, it was fun. I mean, God dang it. I
don't wish this situation on anybody. It's a horrible situation to see people turn on you that you love, people that you trusted, people that you helped, people that you confided in. That has to be a very sick feeling to have to sit there and watch that. I wouldn't wish
I cried many nights in my cell. Just on the expectations of people. Like that right there in itself. Like I put high expectations on people that I have around me, and I've been so disappointed because I just expect people to do what I would do for them, and it just didn't pan out. So I'm sure he is mentally having a whole breakdown about some of the people in his lives and some of the guys that he's fed and helped, and it's just tragic.
It's tragic. It's really sad. It's really sad to watch. So I just hope he keeps his spirits up. you know, when he gets on the other side of this, and, you know, just, whew, child.
Okay, Sakeya. Well, you know, I think we covered a lot of territory here today. I wish that we could just talk on and on and on. I'm sure some of the people that are listening, you know, people only have like a 7-minute attention span. So they probably been zooming in and out and in and out. But I hope they got some pertinent information. I hope that they could relate to some of the things that we talked about. And I hope that it prevents, you know, someone for not, you know, getting caught up in the wrong situation. So where can we tell the viewers how to get at you, where to find you?
You can follow me on social platforms, Sakeya the Great, Fly Girl Approved. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Fly Girl Approved, my YouTube channel. So yeah, I'm trying to become more social and more active on these platforms.
It's a definite job.
It's a job.
It is. Well, Sakeya, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And when you're in the A, come on, you know, let's do lunch, let's do the girl thing, and let's always stay positive as sisters in prison reform and sisters in Christ. Let's just do it. Okay?
For sure. Thank you for having me. Thank you for providing this platform and this voice, because so many times we're silenced, right? And education and information is power. You know, if you know, you know, right? And
Yes, indeed.
yeah, and I always say that educate yourself, read, learn as much as you can about whatever it is that you have going on, and try to put an actionable plan together. If you want to see change, you have to be the change.
Sounds good to me. Well, I will talk to you soon. Much blessings.
Take care.
Love. All right, dear.
Bye.
I'm Lana Hampton. Make sure you guys follow me at The Lana Hampton on all platforms. And you could also catch more episodes on InStyleAtlanta.com and search Free Game with Lana Hampton. And until next time, stay safe, stay warm, and stay out of prison. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.